Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like gardening action, stay tuned because you're going to get to see some of it. So the first step of the video, we're going to see if we can get Little Red out of here. Little Red had a dead battery the last time I tried to get it out, so I hope that's all it is, fingers crossed. Some of you guys may have seen this in my last video. This is my one bottom Ford plow. I believe it's a 16-inch. We're going to use it today, but we're also going to use some other pieces of equipment. I don't know if you guys have this issue or not of keeping up with batteries, but we sure do. Seems like as soon as one thing goes dead, then another one, and it seems like the cheapest place that I've been able to find batteries is at Rural King, but the problem is that Rural King is about 45 minutes away from us, so sometimes it's real hard just to go get a battery. So this time we're just going to take one out of the old David Brown, and we're going to see if we can get little Red fired up going here. Keyword try. So we got the little tractor going, got our plow. You may be asking why I've got that Subsoiler on the back of the new Holland there. This makes about 6 years that garden's been there, and it's never been plowed deeper than a plow pan. So I'm afraid that I've got a plow pan that's starting, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically where the plow goes and it creates compaction. So we're gonna run that Subsoiler through that plowed ground before I take my tiller over it. But anyways, let's head on down to Mama's. Got some guys that came over doing some metal detecting today. They found an old pocket knife in that front yard last time they were here, so that's pretty neat. Man, I love this GoPro. It's so cool. So my grandma and my great-grandma had a garden here for 20-30 years, and when I was I guess maybe a junior in high school, I plowed it back up and sowed it back down, and I was just kind of pretty content with sowing grass in it. But I think I'm going to plow it back up and maybe put some of my melons, my peppers, tomatoes, squash, things like that down here. First off, don't make too much fun of my plowing here. The corn patch and tobacco patch days were long gone by the time that I was old enough to really much fool with them. So after some slight adjustments, we are able to plow. Like I said, it's been quite a while since this sod has been turned. And no, my draft control does not work on my tractor. So normally I've just been using my hand to feather it, but where I'm kind of holding you guys, it's a little tough to do in steer too. So one good way to know that your plow is for sure out of adjustment is if it pulls the tractor too hard one way or the other. It's basically causing the tractor to work hard when it really doesn't have to. Probably could use some new plow points too. It doesn't really automatically want to grab. but it is rolling over pretty now that I got it figured out. My first 2 passes, I could definitely tell I didn't have it adjusted right, so my dad helped me get it adjusted right, and we're like the good old days now. There has been a ton of plowing done with these little Ford tractors in my area, a lot. Sorry, I had to switch hands on you there. So now that we've got that finished down there, let's run this subsoiler behind this New Holland through this garden. I probably won't show much of it, but I may show you a clip or two, and then we'll unhook our plow and we'll hook up to our rototiller. Now, I don't know if this is really going to help or not, but I know it definitely couldn't hurt. So I'll see if I can kind of tell any improvements this year. Okay, so I got the tiller hooked up. I didn't film any of that because it's pretty close quarters. What do I think about a tiller? Well, first off, I think a tiller does an amazing job working up the ground. It'll about turn into powder if you want it to, but that's not exactly what you want. They do work a lot better than a disc harrow, or a disc car, as a lot of people call them around here. There's some downfalls to them though. Number one, they'll work up the ground so much that it'll turn into powder, and what happens is when it rains, it'll sometimes pack. Another thing too, if you're going over plowed ground, it'll bounce and shake and jerk, and I'm pretty sure that's what's wearing out my PTO seal on this little tractor. It is starting to leak. If y'all remember, I changed it a couple years ago and it's starting to leak again, and I wonder if that's not what's causing it. If you just rotill your garden, they don't bounce and jerk, but I did that last year. I just run a tiller through it, and I had a horrible problem with squash bugs. So be mindful of that. If you just run over, and you never plow it up or lift it up, you could have a pretty bad bug infestation, because I had that last year and it ruined my squash plants. My zucchini, squash, I think it even put a hurting on my cucumbers and watermelon too, those bugs did, all because I never did plow up the ground where their eggs were. But anyways, you guys make your own opinion about them. I'll go ahead and show you how good they work it up here in just a second. We're only gonna work up this part today. We're gonna let that kind of mellow out a little bit in this weather before we end up running it through it. But if it's not too wet, we're gonna try to use this thing. So as much as I like this little tractor, it does have a downfall where it's just a 4-speed. First gear is super quick for working up ground. So I kind of have to slow it down as much as I can. I'd really like to find either one with a Sherman, or maybe a 5-speed with a 2-stage clutch, like a 861 or something. But it does okay for garden work. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to flip our PTO on here. Remember, it is a direct drive PTO, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give it a little bit of fuel, and we're kind of just gonna set it down as we get to moving. Well, I said we was, if we don't just stop the tractor in its tracks. Now, I'm not setting it down all the way. I'm just kind of letting it work up the top layer. And as you can tell, it just does a wonderful job breaking up ground. So what I normally do, I normally go through it with it just barely lifted up, and then I go through it and set it down a little bit deeper. somewhere. Just took a rototiller to find it. Man, this wind is just brutal today. So, as you can tell, it makes a pretty nice seed bed. It's real soft. Nothing really much in it, no clods or anything. Now, I will go ahead and tell you that the tiller does only go down about that far, so it is kind of loose on the top, and then it does kind of get a little bit packed towards the bottom. But like I said, you'll just have to make your own decision between it and a disc car. Me, I like the tiller really good. I love the way that it just prepares the land and gets it ready for planting. Now, as you can tell, we don't really have many rocks here either. Like I said, I done that ripping and I pulled up like one rock, maybe two this size. Now, if you have extremely rocky ground, a tiller may not be your best friend, but it works real good here. So I'll finish up the video by planting something, but I do want to give you a little sneak peek of something first. I've got a video coming about that thing here in just a little bit. I'm going to finish up doing my maintenance and stuff with it, so whenever I get done with that, you all see a video on it. I ended up getting some broccoli, some cabbage, some cauliflower, some sweet onions, some carrots, and some potatoes. And we're going to go ahead and at least get the plants planted. I don't really want to hook up the layoff plow right now because it's just such a bear to get that rototiller on and off at the place that I put it. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of put these maybe at the end of the garden, so that way when we do make our rows, they can already be there. I haven't made up my mind if I want to do the onions today, but we'll see how far we get. Now, this stuff like broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage, it's already naturally frost resistant. It's too early to plant corn, beans, tomatoes, and things like that outside. So you can work with your cold stuff right now. Heck, you know that row ain't too bad by eyeballing it and just using a hoe. Guess we'll just go ahead and do that for today. Now, I have never planted broccoli before, so this will be a first time experience for me and you both. Just to be honest with you, I don't even really know what variety this broccoli is. My little local hardware store had it sitting out front this morning, and when I went out to go get some onions from them, I seen it and said, let's go ahead and try it. So I've got them spaced probably, I don't know, maybe 20 inches apart, I guess. I think that should be plenty. Pretty exciting. First thing in the garden for 2025. As I just break one of the bottom leaves there. But it'll be all right. It'll make it. I believe that leaf is done broke too, but we'll give it a chance. Now, I only got 6 plants because I kind of just want to try them. Looks like that leaf is broke. So if anybody's got any tips for broccoli, cabbage, anything like that, drop a comment below. Now, I believe what we're going to do next is the onions. Now, I've also never planted any onions before, so I'm just going to kind of use a little common sense. Let me see if I can find one here that shows you an example. Of course, I had one earlier, now I can't find it. All right, there we go. All right, so if you look at that end of the onion, that's where the sprout comes from. My dad said I always try to put them up. He said it don't really matter, I guess, to some people, but he always liked putting them up whenever he was doing them. So that's what we'll go ahead and we'll try to start doing. I really have no idea how deep these things need to go or how shallow they need to go or how far apart. We're just trying it, but I think I've already figured out something. I think it'd be better off for me to just go through and drop them and then go back through. I feel like that'd be a little quicker. I don't know, YouTube, you tell me. Is that too close? Too far away? Just right? I don't know. We're learning. Not many, has my bag just spilled over there. Not many 26-year-olds are out here working, plowing up their own garden. I wish there was, but there's not many out there. So we got our onions planted. I have, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 foot of this row left. I think that's what I'm going to do with my carrots. Now the guy at the hardware store told me to sow these things pretty thick, let them come up, and then thin them out. So that's what we're going to try to do. I also don't think you cover these up too deep either. That sowed pretty heavy, and I still have some of it left over, so I'm gonna go ahead and just barely cover these up and see if they come up. Like I said, we can always thin them out. Now what I mean by barely covering up, I'm just basically just putting a dusting of dirt on top of them. Alright, so we got 6 cabbage plants, 6 cauliflower, I don't know, maybe a 20-foot row of carrots, maybe a 30-foot row of sweet onions, and 6 broccoli plants. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to try, knock on wood, I'm going to try to put myself out there. I'm going to try to upload more frequently than what I have been. I'm going to at least try to upload a video a week, even if it is just random stuff we're doing around here at the house. I know some of you guys just kind of like just the day in the life videos, and I'm going to try to upload some of those. I've got some projects coming up, so we're going to try to maybe film those. And anyways, just want to take y'all along. I'm on some gardening today. If y'all like the video, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and stay tuned, because hopefully we're going to have a couple more garden videos this spring. Thank y'all. Have a blessed day.